Well, a very good evening to you all once again, and welcome to Virtual Church, brought to you live from right here, BIS Organ, in our dining room, and we are in virtual Romsey. You can hear the Romsey bells in the background right now, as I heard them 2 hours ago. Was it 2 hours ago? Yes, it was 2 hours ago. They were ringing. And they sounded just like this. Started there with Christ is made the sure foundation, Christ our head and cornerstone. To the tune, you all know the tune, write it in the chat so I know that you can hear me, of course. I do hope that you are all well, hope that you've all had a good week. If you've had anything interesting happen to you, if you've done anything interesting, I would be interested to hear what you've been up to, and I know the fellow listeners would be interested to know what you've been up to. Anything organ related, anything church related. Quick hello to Hecky, Nick Nack, Gregory, Doug, Stephen, Josh, Bill, JT, Paul, Dan, Eileen, Thomas, Paul, Brady, Martin, Matt. There's so many of you, I can't even begin to say hello to you all. So, right, we've got a lot to get through tonight. We've got a top five coming your way very shortly, recorded and spoken very nicely by a relatively new listener, so it'll be nice to get to know them a little bit. But before we get to that top five, we have a selection of live requests that have been sent through via the BIS Requests Form, and I might just sneak in one or two myself as well. As I did there, that was my request. So, Ryan Frederick is up next. He managed to sneak one in this evening, and he said about this hymn, "This one really stuck with me after church this morning. Next week would be fine also if you don't have time today." Well, we do have time today, luckily, and I've got my trusty keyboard here, so I can now search for things quite easily and get them up fairly promptly. This is a tune that I don't think I recognise. It's a chorale. It has been harmonised by the great man J.S. Bach. It's called Allein zu dir. Simple as that. It's in thee alone, O Christ my Lord, my hope on earth remaineth. I know thou wilt thine aid afford. And it goes on, naught else my soul sustaineth, no strength of man, no earthly stay, can help me in the evil day. Thou, only thou canst aid supply, to thee I cry, on thee I bid my heart rely. So we'll get these bells to stop ringing now. It's 8:30 here, so they should have stopped by now. Oh, as if by magic. These bell ringers have very good timekeeping. I appreciate that. Okay, let's enjoy some of these. Let's find a sort of a plenum sort of sound on this wonderful organ that we have in Romsey Abbey. An 1850s William W. What am I saying? A Walker organ. J.W. Walker. It's fantastic, and I'm very privileged to be able to play it. Michelle, hello. Hello. Yay, Romsey. Can I request 40 days and 40 nights? I know we had it last week, but I love it on this organ. Michelle, you can have anything you like, my friend. Well, that was a new chorale to me. I've played quite a few of J.S. Bach's harmonizations before, but that was never heard that one before. Anyone else knew it? David Wright said it is new to him. Anyone else in the chat know that? I didn't know that at all. It was brand new to me. Some interesting harmonizations, actually. I mean, the melody is quite... there's some interesting rhythms in this, and it just somehow doesn't... Some of the rhythms took me by surprise. In the lower parts, like here, at the very beginning, here. That somehow feels unnatural. What was that? What was that? Just somehow feels quite unnatural. But there we go. Bach does indeed love surprising us. So thank you very much, Bill, for your 10 channel memberships. That's very kind, as always. And Matt Leach has popped something into the tip jar as well for a cornerstone for the new BIS music room. I'll be able to give you a little bit of an update on that a little bit later on. So Tyler Hyman is coming up next. He's asked me to play. Can you please play, he says very kindly, Lord of all hopefulness, Lord of all joy. Well, of course I can. Not least because you asked so nicely, but it is one of my absolute favourite hymns. And I know a lot of it is for you as well. So where are we? Lord of all hopefulness, Lord of all joy. What I might just quickly do, actually, is set up some generals on this organ, so I can very quickly just go between the colours. I'll tell you what I'm setting up. So I'm going to set up General 1 as some of the, I guess, like stringy sounds. So I'm going to pull all the strings together, like this. And then General 2, I'm going to pull together all of the 8-foot flutes. Just like that. Solo to choir, I think. And then I'm going to pull together all the 8 and 4s on General 3. So there's the 4-foots there. And then the 8, so all the 8-foot foundation stops now, which includes the flutes and the diapasons. I'm going to leave off the big open diapason on the great because it is rather large and can dominate the sound. Now this is all the 8 and 4s, which creates a really luscious sound. For that I am going to add the big open diapason on the great. No strings, so that's number 5. And then number 6, I'm going to make up a cornet. So that's the TS, the Nazard, the flute for the 8 down on the choir. Just like that. I've got a cat on the bench now. Bobby, you can come on the bench as long as you don't jump on the keyboard. Is that a fair deal? That's nice enough, I think, isn't it? The cornet up there as well. Lovely stuff. And then, okay, I haven't got that, so that's nothing. The quiet reed, so I'm going to have a choir clarinet here. And the orchestral oboe on the solo division. There's no quiet reed on the great, but there is a beautiful oboe on the swell, especially with the trem, which is actually, I'm playing some Gilmour a little bit later on, so you'll be able to listen to that as a solo stop. It's glorious. Yeah, I'll do that. Put that as number 8. And then the tuba comes out next. So let's pop that out. Sounds odd, doesn't it? Let's pop it out. Swell to great, the Holy Trinity of... It's not very loud, that, is it? That the choir trumpet. There we go. Oh, well, that will do. Let's bring the solo to choir down. So that's number 9. And then a plenum. Let's have let's not have the doodah on the grate, so one of the mixtures. That will do, and the tuba out for good measure. Okay, so sorry about that, Tyler, you had to wait, but there we go. Set up some generals now very quickly, so I can just quickly change them in between verses so I don't lose tempo. It's very important. So let's start with General 4. Hilariously, I said I've set up these buttons so I don't lose tempo in between the verses. But then what did I do after the very first verse? Lost about a line's worth of tempo, because when I pressed the general for the clarinet and the solo quiet reeds, of course nothing came out. So I had no stops on, as you probably saw. So let me just quickly redo that. So, oboe, there it is. Stopped diapason, clarinet, and orchestral thingy. All right. Now that needs to be on number 8. Okay, now it's set. Sorry about that hiatus there. I meant to be setting a good example for any aspiring organists. Solid tempo is very important when playing hymns, as your organ scholar will tell you, as I try to drill into him. Right, Brady is up next. Brady's actually asked for, well, he's asked for a hymn, and he says this about it. My eyes are getting very old. We sang this at our midweek Lent service, and, he says, and, oh my, literally writes that, and oh my, with 40 plus people singing it, you could not hear. What? Okay, well, take this as you will. He says, With 40 plus people singing this, you could not hear the women singing this hymn. It sounded like it was just the men singing. It was beautiful. Here is the hymn. It's Jerusalem the Golden. Well, Brady, that very much sounds like fighting talk. And I think you're going to get lots of women now getting a little bit defensive over their voices, because I've heard women sing, and there's nothing quite like a group of women, real singers, singing. It's a very special sound. Like an opera chorus of women singing. Oh my days, that's a glorious sound. Or a very good choir of choristers. You know, at Trinity College, Cambridge. Oh, sublime. Absolutely sublime. Yes, indeed, it is Andrew Luce. It is the tune. It's the wonderful tune, isn't it? I don't know whether... Let's see what Dean Old Rawthorne's done with this. There's a danger of me getting a little bit lazy with my reharms. But I like to be inspired by just his chord sequences. I never play his reharmonizations note for note, but I just like to see where he's taking the harmony. I think that's actually very useful to be able to get ideas. Anyway, less talking, more playing. So let's go for a cornet sort of sound for verse 1, and then I think we'll build it up as we should through into verse 4 with that top F. And you listen to all those women singing the top F. All right, especially on a Sunday morning at 9:15 in the morning or whatever time your mass is. Let's go. Well, a request there from Brady Kilman, Jerusalem the Golden, to the wonderful, wonderful tune E-Wing. And if you want to hear, Caroline singing that, you can if you search for hymns from Arundel Cathedral. I think it's in Arundel. Well, she did sing it in Arundel, but I forget what the actual title of the video is. But she sings it in there really beautifully, of course, as always. It's also on a CD. If you'd like to buy a CD from the BIS shop, it's on the traditional and popular hymns, which is available as a download or as a physical CD. And I sign all of the CDs. I handwrite them all and sign them all, which may devalue it to you, but I think some of you quite like having the personal handwritten writing on the CD, rather than it being, commercially published, printed. Okay, so we're going to have one now that we've not had for a very long time. We have had this hymn many, many, many times for VC. It's probably up there as one of the most popularly requested hymn, actually. Oh, I know why. It's in Fourscore, so it wasn't coming up. And let me just quickly find it, and then that's West Side Story on my iPad. I'll find it, and then I'll give Sarah's reason for requesting it. Vaughan Williams. There it is. I wish to offer this hymn to the glory of God on my birthday. It's Sarah's 64th birthday. Happy birthday, Sarah. Is it your birthday today? If so, a very happy birthday to you. And she'd like to thank God, I presume, that he has allowed her to live another year to serve him. Well, that's why we celebrate our birthdays, isn't it? We've survived another year. Another one down the pan. A very happy birthday to you, Sarah. I hope you've had a really nice day and a really nice weekend. Whereabouts are you? I know you're over quite far west of where we are, over a little bit of water, I think. I think you're over there somewhere, aren't you? All people that on earth do dwell, sing to the Lord with cheerful voice. Him serve with fear, his praise forth tell. Come ye before him and rejoice. All right, let's have a go. I always had a few more donations. Let me catch up with these donations. So, Jerry, it's very nice to see you, Jerry. Nice to have you in the chat with us. Oh, it's St. Patrick's Day. Is it St. Patrick's Day today, or was it yesterday? Yesterday, isn't it? I mean, it's today. Well, we should have something. A request for, of course. Well, yeah, we'll pop that on the list, Jerry, and we'll play that. Thanks for popping in. Thanks for your 50. Sean, thank you for your 10. Stuart, yes, I have it open in my book. I saw it earlier. I got your request there. Bill, thank you for your 50. Blimey, you've been very generous tonight. What's got into everyone tonight? Why have you all been so generous? It's actually very useful because we actually have a digger outside who has been digging all week. So any donation is really welcome, because it's going to go straight towards that. It's going to come to me and then straight out the door again, basically. So I won't get to see the money. But I do really appreciate it. And of course, it's really, really helpful. Vaughan Williams, at the beginning of this hymn, says, all available trumpets. And which is what I'm engaging now. So let's have a go. It's a very strange and surreal feeling sitting here playing this sample set of Romsey Abbey, because I was playing the pipe organ of Romsey Abbey only a couple of hours ago for Evensong, and then playing it here is a very strange experience, because I have to say that it sounds remarkably like the pipe organ. Even though this version that we're playing today is an extended edition, it just sounds identical. You know, the flutes just sound so warm, just like the real thing. So rest assured that you are hearing the Romsey Abbey organ as it sounds in the building. It sounds really good in the building. I dare say it sounds pretty good here. So once again, a very happy birthday to Sarah. Thank you all so much for wishing her a happy birthday as well. I hope, Sarah, that's made you feel very celebratory, very uplifted. And thank you very much for all of your tips tonight, putting in the tip jar. Tip jar overfloweth, yay. That's brilliant. Thank you very much to Gregory, to Ned, to Scott, to Doug, to Jason, Brian, Thomas. Those people have just popped something in the tip jar in the past few minutes. So yes, we have a digger outside. The digger, so the whole project, just half a minute, I'll tell you about this, and then I'll go on to the next hymn, so don't get bored. Basically, the project is in 3 phases. The essentially, well, yeah, I think that's probably fair. Yeah, 3 phases. So the first phase is what we're doing now. Okay, so we're actually preparing the landscaping of the house, because we moved into this house in 2017. The house was built in 1981, 1982, that sort of time. So it's just a bit older than me. Gives you a little bit of a clue as to my age. And walking into this house when we bought it in 2017 was very much like walking into a time warp, you know, a museum, because it was essentially as it was in 1985, let's say. But it was incredibly well kept. So the carpet that you see behind me here, can you see the carpet? The infamous carpet was throughout the entire house downstairs, in the living room, in the hallways. You walked in and you saw this. It was like being in a forest, walking into this carpet. It was a little bit overbearing, if I'm honest. So it's now gone in the living room and in the hallway and in my office. It's now gone. It only remains in here. So phase 1 of the project is to do landscaping. So hedges down, and then more access for diggers and vans, you know, whatever builders do. It gives them more access to the driveway. Okay, so that has now started. So the project as a whole has now officially started. So we can tell our local council, as we call them here in England, in the UK, our council, we've told them that the project has now started, which is a huge relief, because the window for starting the project expired yesterday. So we had permission to start the project, providing we had started the project by yesterday, the 15th of March. The week before the deadline, we got a digger. So phase 1 is now started, thank heavens. Phase 2 is the building of the music room, which is over in that part of the house. It's in an extension, in a new part, literally a new building, which is going to be stuck onto the side of the house. About 2/3 of that extension is going to be the sort of big room where the organ's going to go, and then the rest of it is going to be, you know, just a little toilet and somewhere to hang your coats and a utility room for the washing machine, basically. Then later on down the line, I guess the 3rd phase is, once we've paid for all of that, we're then going to convert this dining room, modernise it a little bit, because this is, bearing in mind this is 1980s carpet. We're going to convert this into a kitchen diner and have a big door here going outside, a patio door type thing going outside there. That's a phase 3. But it's really important that we get onto phase 2, which is the building of the extension, so we can get the organ in there and do all the wonderful things that we've spoken about, the workshops, the big recitals with an audience, VC with an audience, organ outreach, organ education for institutions, any institution who wants to use it. I won't mention any names at the minute, but suffice to say, various large organisations that you would have heard of are very interested in using the space for education. So we need to get there soon. So we are actually close to being able to kick off. Phase 2 hasn't yet been signed yet, but we need to go out to tender and then choose a builder and then hand them the money. There we go. So that's the update. But things are moving. Holes have been dug. That's the important thing. Holes are being dug. So John and Amy have requested the next hymn. This is a moving lantern hymn that we heard recently. They say that we listen to you regularly during Sunday dinner in our Omaha, Nebraska home. So John and Amy, bon appetit. Hope you're all having a lovely Sunday lunch. What on earth are you having, I wonder? What is a Sunday lunch in America like compared to a UK Sunday lunch? Because a Sunday lunch in this country is, traditionally it's roast beef. The French call us the roast beefs because we like roast beef. I mean, who doesn't like beef, right? Yorkshire pudding, carrots, Brussels sprouts, whatever we want on the side, and gravy and all that sort of stuff. Beautiful Sunday lunch. But then you can have pork, you can have lamb. I wonder what is a Sunday lunch in America. Let me know. They've asked for a wonderful, a reflective hymn. I do apologise, that took rather longer than I was expecting. God of mercy and compassion is what they've asked for. And this is funnily enough, this is a traditional French tune. God of mercy and compassion, look with pity upon me. Father, let me call thee, Father. 'Tis thy child returns to thee. And the refrain is, Jesus, Lord, I ask for mercy. Lord, let me not implore in vain. All my sins, I now detest them. Never will I sin again. I think this is going to call for a cornet sound for verse 1, which is not on that one. There it is. Okay, let's have a go. Thank you very much, Sean, for your 10. I'm sure you'll come and see it when it gets built. I'll get you up, get you and the crew up again. Let's have a go at this beautiful hymn now. Ian Garden has made a very good point. He says 256 people watching, actually now 265 watching, and only 102 likes. If you wouldn't mind just moving your finger over to that thumbs up button and just clicking the like, it might promote this video. It might make YouTube promote this video to another 30 people. That's what it might do. And then we might get, of those 30 people, we might get one subscriber. And that one subscriber might then become a beloved member of our community. So the more engagements that you give me, actually the more you chat, the better the engagement rating. And YouTube thinks this is a really, really good video, and therefore everyone else will want to watch it and will promote it to more people, and our community grows and grows. So please do click the like button, and please do just chat away, waffle, waffle, and waffle on. Okay, I'm going to play something now. This was, where is it? This is a very sort of, it's an American Negro, I think it's a Negro spiritual. Of course it is, yes it is. It's steal away, steal away, steal away to Jesus, steal away home, I ain't got long to stay here. Can't say those words without hearing the wonderful Michael Tippett arrangement of these. But this is much more simple, and we'll have a very quiet sort of solo stop, shall we? Let's go with some of the flutes to begin with, and go from there. This is my request. And then very, very soon we'll get into our top 5. Where should we go? Let's have that up there for now. Let's start on the swell, shall I? Yes. Okay, here we go. those 5 spiritual arrangements are amongst my favourite choral pieces, particularly the first one. Just so beautiful. Within my soul. You've got to sing it in that with that southern accent as well. Within my soul. I find it hilarious listening to choirs sing it in a David Wilcox way. You know, it just sounds beautiful, but not quite right. Oh, Richard, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Richard. You've been very generous over the years. I do remember all of the donations that come in, big and small. And I know, Richard, you have been very generous over the years, so thank you very much. If you're ever in my neck of the woods, down in Hampshire, UK, you're more than welcome to come and see the gaff, as we call it, come and see the organ. In fact, you know, when it's all finished, the room is finished and the organ's in there, we might, open days, I think, will be on the cards. You know, prior arrangement, you can come and have a look. Particularly if you've been a very generous sponsor, you'd be more than welcome to come and sit in there and wallow in this amazing sound that we have, you know, from these sample sets. Seeing them on YouTube and hearing them on YouTube is one thing, but then seeing and hearing it all in real life is quite another, as some of the people in the chat will attest, because they've been here as I've been playing. It's quite a different thing hearing it in real life, let me tell you. As is this organ. This organ is a world treasure. This should be like a World Heritage site, because it really is just so it's so unique, isn't it? And it's just I am the custodian of it, and it will be around, I hope, for many, many decades. Well, that's amazing, isn't it? I wonder what will happen to this organ in the future, like in 100 years' time. I wonder what will happen to it. I hope it's, you know, still going and it's been restored and it's been used, has been used for many hundreds of, you know, benefited many hundreds of organists over the years. Anyway, let's not waffle on too much because we've got a lot to get through. Crikey, you've been very generous. So our last pre-request now, before we get into our top 5, which I'm very much looking forward to, comes in, of course, from Daniel. Daniel likes to have the last word. He probably likes to have the first word as well. But today, he's got the last word. So I'll hand over to Danny, who will introduce it for me.
Hi, this is Danny Kabacki. My request for the second Sunday in Lent is No, Not Despairingly, to the tune Kedron. This tune is very sad, and the text is sad too. It's perfect for Lent, even for Holy Week. I hope you enjoy.
No, not despairingly come I to thee. No, not despairing, not distrustingly bend I the knee. Sin hath gone over me, yet this is still my plea. Jesus hath died. This rather predates the BLM movement, so I don't think taking the knee is used in that context, but I think you can imagine what it means. You pray, basically. And as Daniel said, it's to the tune Kedron. Okay, well, I can now take this bit of paper away because that marks the end of our pre-requests. Now we're going to segue into our top 5 via a piece of Bach, Bist du bei mir, which translates to Be thou with me. And this was requested by, it was quite a long time ago, by Stuart, who sent in $20. So thank you very much, Stuart. And he'd like this. So Stuart, if you're still in the chat, this is for you. Please do let us know why you'd like it. And I'm very happy to play it for you. So should we have it on a cornet sound? Why not? I'll play it on the swell. And then we'll go into a top 5 tonight, which is coming from Kathleen. I just saw from William, who said that it was sung at his funeral, at his mother's funeral, just at his request. Well, I can see why you would request it, to be honest. It's a very powerful, short and moving piece of music, isn't it? And of course the words bis du bei mir, be thou with me, is totally relevant. Was it sung by a soprano, or was it just played on the organ? You also asked, William, you have a question to do with Hauptwerk. If you were to compare my organ to the original organ, would there be noticeable differences? So do you mean in terms of the Hauptwerk sound? Well, yes, of course. I mean, you're never going to entirely replicate the sound that a pipe organ makes. It's quite as simple as that. The pipe organ is a living instrument with lungs and breath. Hauptwerk is just a bunch of speakers and digital audio. So the way an organ speaks into a building can't be replicated. The way the air just travels through the pipe and then travels into the building, you know, it bounces off all of the walls. Speakers can't do that. They just can't do that. They do a very, very, very good job. They certainly do. However, that is not to say that what you're hearing here is too dissimilar to what you hear in the building. Certainly, if you were sat here on the bench with me, which I would welcome your company in here, to be honest. I've got a spare chair there. I've got a spare organ bench behind me. If you were sat in the room with me here, it really, really does sound very convincing. In some ways, some sample sets can sound better than their pipe organ counterparts. Now let me explain that. As the organist playing the pipe organ, you are often sat not in the best place to hear the instrument which you are playing. You might be on the side of the organ case where you can just hear the swell, nothing else. Or you might be tucked behind a pillar. You know, you might be away somewhere where you can't hear the organ sounding as best. A sample set, the Hauptwerk version, will put you, the organist, playing it in the position of the listener, the congregation, the audience. So you're hearing the organ from the best position in the building. So I've had several people actually play some very famous sample sets here, and who have also played the real pipe organ, and they've said that they much prefer playing this because they can hear the organ properly here. There we go. So now we're going to go into our top 5. It's very good actually to have a very healthy congregation tonight. We've had well over 1,000 people come and go, and we're now 283 people. If we can get over 300 tonight, that would be amazing. So stick around. Don't go anywhere. Stick around. At least for this top 5, everyone just stick around for the next 10 minutes or so, okay? Go and put the kettle on, stick around, because it's a really nice, well-spoken top 5 tonight. And Bobby's here, and Caroline's just arrived. So what more could you possibly want? Let's get to over 300. Oh, it's just, yeah, see how we get on, Bobby. Right, so I hope this works. Let me just find my script. I have a script, so I know what I'm playing, in what order. And, okay, so let me just find it so I can get myself ready. So as I said before, the more you chat, the better this video does. It's really good engagement if you chat. Or just chat away, okay? Kathleen Smith, there you are. So this is your top 5 tonight. You don't need to be nervous. You spoke very, very nicely, and people will love this. You're in good company. Bobby, I gave you some food before I did VC, so you wouldn't start doing this. Where's your big sister? Is she around? All right, Kathleen, so I'm going to hand over to you now.
Hello, Richard. My name is Kathleen Smith. My husband and I are fairly new watchers of your program. We've been on for just over a year. We've enjoyed all of the new hymns that we've learned about, and I've been anxious to participate in the top 5. My husband is actually the organist, and I am the chorister and choir director. And so these are my top 5 hymns. Maybe I can get him to do his next. Number 5, The First Day of the Week. This hymn speaks of the despair, wonder, and finally understanding of Jesus' death and resurrection. As a family, we would sing this hymn together and marvel at the simplicity, beauty, and majesty of this amazing hymn. We often would take up our instruments, say a flute, a whistle, a violin, or guitar, and play the harmonies for a verse, then go back to singing. This tune lends itself well to all the versions we explored, and we loved every one. In the first and second verses we sing, "The first day of the week, his own in sad despair could not believe for very joy their risen Lord was there. Obedient to his word, they shared what Jesus gave, and one in him, in breaking bread, knew what it cost to save." Then, after exploring the challenges and newfound liberty of the disciples, we come to the 5th verse and the powerful message of freedom for our day. How soon we forge again the fetters of our past. As long as Jesus lives in us, so long our freedoms last. This hymn about the resurrection and its connection to our freedom became a powerful anthem for our family and a constant reminder of Jesus' supreme gift. Number 4, Now the Silence. This unique communion hymn, with its one verse, invokes many images and ideas for contemplation. It brings a lilting, rocking feeling that is first present in the words, "Now the silence, now the peace, now the empty hands uplifted." It gently narrates the actions of the communion in a sort of reverent and peaceful dance. Then, when the song is at the height of emotion, we hear, "Now the body, now the blood, now the joyful celebration." I love the way this hymn walks us through the steps of communion with both quiet, slow steps and joyful celebratory dancing, ending with these words that send us out to our daily lives: "Now the Spirit's visitation, now the Son's epiphany, now the Father's blessing, now, now, now." Number 3, Let Us Break Bread Together. This well-known American hymn is one of our family favorites. It begins with the invitation, "Let us break bread together on our knees." It then repeats the invitation a little higher, adding emphasis, ending with, "O Lord, have mercy on me." This Negro spiritual is both stirring and uplifting. Its simple yet powerful text invites you to not only break bread, but to drink wine and praise God together on your knees. Whenever we sang this song, everyone in the family wanted to use their full voices to sing. The song gives confidence to praise and allows you to join together in a truly special way. Each verse ends with the words, "When I fall on my knees with my face to the rising sun, O Lord, have mercy on me." Let the music lift you out of your seat and put you on your knees. Number 2, Nature with Open Volume Stands. This wonderful Isaac Watts hymn begins with a flourish but ends with a hush. It's almost as if we rush to praise God for what we see and what we have. Then, when we realize what it must have cost to produce this wonderful creation, we are humbled in the dust and quietly bow our heads in silence. I love this hymn and the most interesting imagery Isaac Watts invokes here. He speaks of the glory of God written in crimson lines of blood upon the cross, and he wonders which of the letters of his glorious name is best written here, the power, the glory, or the love. The poetry of this hymn is stunning and captivating. It brings the listener and singer to a higher level of understanding in a most unassuming and undeniable way. He speaks of these light-filled words for us. But in the grace that rescued us, his brightest form of glory shines. When we hear these words, we are reminded that all was done for us, and that his love is the greatest gift of all. Number 1, Oh, How He Loves You and Me. In making a collection of hymns for my family, I came across this simple, elegant tune. I was at once captivated and moved. There is nothing fancy here. Nothing in the music would say to anyone, "This is a great hymn." No, it is almost too simple. Yet its simplicity exactly fits the words to create a truly timeless piece of art. Oh, How He Loves You and Me does not tell us anything we don't already know. It simply repeats the phrase, then gives the most obvious reason for it, then repeats it again. In looking at it as a musician, I would have said it was unfinished, or a child's song, not one you would see in a regular hymnal. However, after singing it once, I knew that it had to be in my collection. The first verse goes like this: Oh, how he loves you and me. Oh, how he loves you and me. He gave his life. What more could he give? Oh, how he loves you. Oh, how he loves me. Oh, how he loves you and me. Somehow, when you sing those words with this music, something special happens, and you really do feel just how much he loves you. No fanfare, just simple, beautiful love. What more could we ask for?
And with that comes to an end of Kathleen's top 5 hymns.
That was a very nice top 5. Claps.
Oh, there you are. The
I'm
voice.
I'm hiding.
Oh, you haven't got a microphone on either, so you're miles away. I don't even know when people can hear you, to be
No,
honest.
I'm hiding.
Well, you're not, because you were on camera a second ago. Kathleen, thank you very much for sending that wonderful list through. And I don't know whether I knew any of those hymns, actually. So that was a first for me, I think. A top 5 where I didn't know one of the hymns. However, I love them all. And I think my audience really enjoyed those as well. I'll pop that over I'll put it into here. So
Ian
thank you very
Garden
much.
can hear me.
Hidden Garden. Look, if you want to talk, put that on. They're wireless, so you can, no expense spared here. You have to have high quality audio. Thank you very much. That was so nice. Can we all show our appreciation to Kathleen by putting a clapping thingy in the chat? Thank you very much, Kathleen. That was lovely. I'll start the ball rolling, but see if I can do it. I can't do it because I haven't got my keyboard to hand, unfortunately.
Just put one of your amazing emojis on. I've just been talking about the Roman Catholic Cathedral in Liverpool, one of my favourite cathedrals. Ian Garden and Christian were talking about it. It's absolutely brilliant.
Okay.
Fantastic. So the choir and clergy process from underneath the nave, I suppose you'd call it, but it's a circle. It's not like a nave, a traditional nave, it's a circle. And you process up from underneath, up a ramp, and then do a sort of complete circuit around the outside of the congregation before you take your places in the choir stalls. It's absolutely brilliant. And at the end, if you're in the choir, because you can do another complete circuit around the outside of the congregation before you disappear down the ramp, down to the floor below, you get to hear loads of the organ voluntary. And when I sang there, John Hosking was playing the organ. And it was rather loud, as I remember. And we got to hear loads of it.
That's unsurprising. That's very surprising. They don't call him Johnny Softboy. Call him Johnny Bombard.
The other amazing thing about that wigwam is the stained glass. So when the sun comes out, there's multicoloured, really vibrant colours.
It is a wonderful place.
It really
Very
is.
wonderful.
When I was there, they had I don't know whether it was an anniversary of the architectural competition, but they had all, in the foyer, they had all the, I don't know if it's called the foyer, I don't know, but it's the, sort of when you go in, before you go into the main nave, they had all little miniature models of all the final architect designs for the shortlist for the finished cathedral. And of course, it's got some splendid bells outside as well.
And of course, what you see today wasn't even one of the designs that won.
Well, no, because there's Lutyens' crypt. Lutyens.
Give context.
Well, the crypt is much older than the main building.
It's not. Well, it was built first.
Yeah.
But that was no, you haven't quite got the story right there. So the crypt was built to spec.
But
then the war happened.
Yeah, so
then they had no money.
Yeah, exactly.
Then they had to change the designs. But
Yeah,
a little bit like we've had to do for our music room.
So the new set of designs, post losing, having a reduction in budget, those were the ones that were being displayed, and they were all very interesting. Some very modern and edgy. Some less so. But it's really good.
But thumbs up if you've been
to
thumbs up if you've been to Liverpool Anglican Cathedral. Thumbs up if you've been to Liverpool Met Cathedral. Which one do you prefer?
I'm probably going to be controversial here. So in one weekend, I sang in the Lady Chapel of the Anglican, the Catholic, and the main space nave in the Anglican, and definitely the Catholic was my favourite by a mile.
Yeah.
But John Hosking played Stamford and A really well in the Anglican. It's the introduction, isn't it? As an organist, you have your workout. It's quite hard, isn't it, that introduction?
I had to pay that for an audition once.
Well, that's why.
Right, so let's now get into our live requests. So we have a few to get through because you've been extremely generous tonight. So we have a few to get through, about a dozen to get through. Josh Wilson is in the hot seat tonight, so thank you very much, Josh, for your hard work behind the scenes, keeping us afloat. So let's start with, your first name is a city in this country, Carlisle. I'm going to assume that's how it's pronounced. Carlisle has requested. We had this last week actually. Our holy Jesu, how have you offended? This wonderful chorale here by harmonised by J.S. Bach. I'll give you 3 verses of this, and 2 different versions of the chorale. Okay. When I conducted my own choir in a church not too far from here, I made them sing that every year. Every Lent we would sing that. It's very moving, it's very, very powerful. Thank you very much, Carlisle, for allowing me to play it. I'm going to now play a request which has come in from Heikki. It's "You redeemed me, O my Saviour," and it has been sent to my email. So let me quickly fire up my inbox.
Did you know what narthex means?
Not,
Narthex.
No.
It means an antechamber or large porch in a modern church.
Why are you telling me that?
Because Christian said to me the word you're looking for is narthex, not foyer.
Oh, I see.
He's probably right. I didn't know that word until today. You learn something new every day.
I haven't received any email from Heikki, so I can't play that one. So that needs to be sent before I can play it. So if you send it now, I can play it for you in a minute. However, I know I have, 40 days and 40 nights for Michelle. 40 days and 40 nights. Thank you, Michelle, for your wonderful support and generosity. Okay, let's go. Thanks, Michelle. So as you know, I did play that in on the pipe organ last year. Give a little bit of a bit of word painting, you know, prowling beasts, and if Satan vexed Saul, so shall we have peace divine. If you read the word, if you actually genuinely really read the words for that hymn, really read them, it is the full story of the going through Lent into Easter. It takes you through the story. It's pretty cool. About 40 days, all the temptations. It's a good hymn. That one of my favourite for Lent.
There's now a bit of debate about the term narthex as to whether we use it in the UK. I don't know, because someone more learned than me.
I have never heard it before.
No, neither have I.
But there's a lot of words that I haven't heard before.
No, but you've worked in cathedrals, so if
I have, but that doesn't mean we are learned.
No, but it probably doesn't mean they have. For example, that would mean there isn't a narthex in York Minster, because if there was, you would know about it, right? And Winchester Cathedral.
No, I don't know. We might not know about it.
Oh, really? Would they not refer to it?
No. Well, I don't know.
Okay.
Not to me anyway.
You've also recorded that hymn on the Arundel Cathedral organ on the channel.
Oh yes, I have.
That's a good rendition. If anyone wants to look that up, Richard recorded it on the pipe organ of Arundel Cathedral.
That's a second shout out for Arundel tonight, because I also said about.
Oh yeah, we did that, didn't we?
Yes, we did. And I mentioned our recording on that in Arundel.
Yeah, I don't think good chap he's in tonight. He was being rude about D flat major last week. Nothing should ever be in D flat major. Well, you're wrong, my friend.
Well, in Arundel, it's that sharp.
It's nearly
actually
in D, isn't it?
It's
yeah.
nearer D than it is D flat, in a way.
But I think he was really saying that because it's hard to play.
All right, so let's have a go at this next hymn. So Hecky has sent it through now. The translation is thus: "You redeemed me, O my Saviour, when you bled and died for me. When your feet and hands were bloody by the nails on Calvary." Oh, crikey. "We are seeking you, our hero, in the vale of Sharon fair. You have won a crown and kingdom, in your glory we will share." Importantly, this is in C minor. Yay. There are 8 verses here. I'm not going to play all 8 because we'll be here until 4 o'clock in the morning if you do that. But the words are pretty grim, I have to say. Verse 4, "See him rise in blood-soaked anguish." And then verse 8, "Hasten, purchased flock of Zion. Hear the crucified Messiah crying out to you and me. All is finished. Precious children, the redemption work is done. Now the temple veil is open. Hallelujah, sing. Amen." This is a translation from Finnish, I think. I think it's Finnish. Hecky's hymns normally are Finnish hymns, it doesn't say here. But it has been arranged or harmonised by JSB, so it should be half decent at least. Let's see. Well, thank you very much, Hecky, for sending it through. I hope you don't mind me not playing all 8 verses. 3 verses is all you had there, or we had time for. I now need to go back into the organ cupboard to find the Veritas hymnal.
While you do that, I can tell you about narthex, Richard.
Oh, this narthex thing.
Our learned friends have been telling us all about it. So Ian Garden says, narthex has its origin in the earliest of church buildings, a place of gathering and teaching. And then someone else, Dan, says, narthex is a Greek word and was used by the early Christians. It means scourge and was a gathering porch for penitents and those awaiting baptism gathered. And then Eileen says it's definitely used in the UK, it just depends on the architecture of the building. So there you go. Now you know all about narthex. What shall be our word of the week next week? We don't know because it'll be a word that's new to us.
Well, exactly, yes. We don't know what we don't know.
Exactly.
At this stage in time. How do I find this hymn then? Jerry's asked for Hymn to St. Patrick. Number 139, there it is. Number 139. Oh, yes, okay.
Jerry's busy with his band, isn't he, at the moment? Doing St. Patrick's stuff.
It looks like it. We praise you and thank you, our Father above, who offer us peace in your kingdom of love. Mankind has been saved by the death of your Son, who showed us the way that all men might be one. Accepting this gospel, we honour St. Patrick, who taught in our land what your kindness has done. Wonderful. Let's have a go at this tune, which is called, I think it doesn't have a name, it just says traditional. Cool, so let's have a go at this then. Okay, let's do it. If I start down on this manual. Okay. Thank you very much, Jerry, for sending that wonderful hymn through. It's nice to have this hymn back out again. It's very nice, very nicely printed, nicely published, nice paper, nicely laid out. Sean Pear has asked for an Irish hymn of my choosing. Put me on the spot. I can't think of an Irish hymn at this moment in time. That is... Can you think of an Irish hymn?
An Irish hymn.
Yes, like a specifically Gaelic Irish hymn.
Give me 2 minutes, I probably can. Play another hymn and then I'll think of something.
That's not how it works. So,
Why is that not how it works?
shall I hand over to the chat?
Narwhal.
We could have
Word of the
the
week.
Gaelic blessing.
Narwhals.
We're
talking about narwhals
Can
now.
we stop talking about narwhals, please? Because I don't know what it. I still don't know what it. I've never heard of it.
No, narwhal. This is a completely different word now.
Is it?
Yes.
But words that we've never heard of.
Narthex is what we were talking about. We're now talking about narwhals, which are the whales with
Lady
the
of
big
Knock.
horn in the Arctic. Charlotte's got some on her trousers.
Oh, Be Thou My Vision, of course. Yes, we have had that tune though tonight. Slain.
I think Liz Ralston's on the money. Londonderry Air. That's a classic.
Oh.
Play that. Brilliant. But play it in the English hymnal key and not any other key. Please.
Let's see. I don't know. Is it on here? I cannot.
You need to get. No, you need to do it in
I
this
am
key.
tell.
You need to do it in this key in the English hymnal. It's
I've got
much
it, thanks.
better. No, but it's in the wrong key.
It's not in the wrong key.
Oh,
Thank
right
you.
then. Are you sure? Oh no.
What
That's
do you
it.
mean?
That's it.
I am pretty sure.
The narwhals would approve.
I'm pretty sure. Okay, so Liz suggested it. Sean sponsored it. Noel Rawson is
narwhal.
going to harmonise it.
The holy narwhal. Ah.
Where is it? London New.
Oh yeah, you should
Oh,
play
maybe
the
it's not in
Rawson
here.
Prelude on Londonderry Air. Kevin's absolutely right. You should.
I could do.
Well, which book is it in? Would you like me to find it?
I've got
for
a
you?
lot to get through though, so to be honest,
no.
I don't know whether I've got time. If someone sponsors it, then
Why don't you play it as your
I'll
volunteer
play it.
tonight?
Well, might have already got one set up.
Oh.
So don't we need to discuss these things.
Charlotte was shouting all through your voluntary in Romsey this morning, I'm afraid.
It may have been noticed.
All of the choir was saying, "Oh dear, what's wrong with Charlotte? Is she teething or is Daddy playing the organ too loudly?"
If she wanted to play the organ, once she sat on the organ, she was absolutely fine.
I know.
Right, I cannot tell why he whom angels worship. This is to the tune Londonderry Air. Why is that funny?
I'm just reading Ian Garden's comment.
Oh.
I vote we put the narwhal on the BIS coat of arms along with a digger.
I don't know about
really laugh.
you, chat, but I have no idea what people are talking about. I have literally no idea. Sort of like I've come into a conversation halfway through and I don't know what's going on.
Narwhal.
There we go. A great suggestion. Of course, one of the great Irish melodies, I think, isn't it? Londonderry is what the tune is called. Harmonised there by Michael Fleming. Thanks, Sean. Okay, cool. Right. And Liz, of course. Thank you very much, both of you. The King of Love, my shepherd is, to the tune St. Columba.
Happy birthday, Sarah Rubin. 64 today.
Yes, we all know. Because we made a think of it earlier. Sarah sent in a request and said it was for her birthday.
She might have missed her request then. I think she's
So
just arrived.
It was earlier on, Sarah. It was earlier on in the show. But happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. The King of Love for Bill. To the tune, my preferred tune actually, St. Columba. Psalm 23. The King of Love, my shepherd is, whose goodness faileth never. I nothing lack, if I am his, and he is mine forever. Such a wonderful tune, and of course, such wonderful words. Some of the most famous words in the Bible, really, aren't they? The Lord is my shepherd. Psalm 23. Right, so Thomas Moronta has asked for Brother, Sister, Let Me Serve You, to the tune The Servant Song. Words and music are by Richard Gillard, or I think it's Gillard, yes. Brother, sister, let me serve you. Let me be as Christ to you. Pray that I may have the grace to let you be my servant too. Lovely tune, this. Lovely flowing tune. If you don't know it, this is a nice tune. Well worth getting to know. Okay, let's have a go. There we go. Nice tune. Very nice tune. It's one of the. It's a new. It's published in 1977. It was copyrighted in 1977. So it's a new hymn. It's in the newer hymn books. It's not in the NEH because that is after the NEH was published. But it's in. I would have thought it would be in Common Praise, Ancient and Modern. It'll be in the Complete Anglican and any other new hymn book. I'm certain it'll be in the. In fact, is it in the new REH, the Revised English Hymnal? I wonder. Maybe someone could check that. I can't remember. I have played that hymn book cover to cover. I must be still the only person in the world to have done that. I'm the only person with these wacky ideas. But there we go. Someone's got to be wacky enough, haven't they? There's a place in the world for everyone, and I'm that wacky organist. That should be my YouTube title name, YouTube channel name, The Wacky Organist. The Waffly Wacky Organist. Right. Anyway, before I turn into a whacker and a waffler, let's go on to a request that's coming from Scott Flanagan. I bind unto myself today. Now, is that on, where is that on here? Because there's a lot of page turns on this. I bind unto myself. Let's have a look. Okay. There's this one, yeah, but look at that. Oh my goodness me. There's 8 pages there. I'm going to have to pull my music desk in like that so I can actually read it. It's tiny. I've got 8 A4 bits of, 8 pages on the screen here. So, Scott, let's hope I can read this with my tired eyes. Either I'm just getting old now, guys, or I'm tired, or the third option is that is just small. I think it's probably a combination of all three, if I'm honest with you. There we go. Thank you very much, Scott, for sending that one through, and I hope that was all right for you. Ned H19, great name award, has asked for something a little bit lower key. Did Ned give a reason? I've missed that. I've forgotten to look over it on the left of my screen. I've got so much open on my screen. On the left is all of the sponsored hymns. So Ned says, please can you play He Who Would Valiant Be? It is my grandma's favourite, especially if it is played loud. Thank you. Well, okay. Let me find it first. He Who Would. We actually had this at Hugo's funeral. Goodness me. Funeral's baptism. God, that was a Freudian slip. Hugo's baptism. We had this. We had All My Hope on God Is Founded, and another hymn, which I can't remember at the minute. What was this one? All My Hope. And what was the third one? Was it Love Divine? Or was it something else? Don't know. Mrs. Balfour will know. Granny will know if she's watching. What was the third hymn we had? All right. But meanwhile, let's have a go at this one. I can push the music desk back now. Okay, so beautiful hymn. Be Thou My Vision. I think it was, wasn't it? I think it was Be Thou My Vision. You think you're right? Yes, I think it was, wasn't it? He who would valiant be thou my vision, and all my hope on God is founded. But I'm sure Hugo will remember. I have to ask him whether he remembers which hymns he had at his baptism in the beautiful small church where there is no electric and therefore no organ and nothing to lead the congregation. So I had to take 2 Bluetooth speakers, have one at the back, one at the front, connect it to my phone, and then pre-record the hymns on this organ, save them as audio files on my phone, obviously with no singing, just the hymn played fairly straight, and then we sang it to that recorded accompaniment. It actually worked, luckily, remarkably well. Although everybody was singing, and the speakers, even though they were actually turned right up, they weren't quite loud enough. It's amazing how loud, when you're preparing, doing a sound check, you think this is plenty loud enough, definitely. You almost turn it down, But then when you have a church full of people singing, it's amazing how loud that is, and it drowns out the accompaniment. There used to be indeed a harmonium, but unfortunately it was quite a damp, and it's a very old church, no heating. It wasn't well insulated, so unfortunately the harmonium ceased to exist. Let's put it that way. I had the keyboard to the harmonium in the garage actually, because the keyboard was a very nice. I would assume that they are ivory keys. I don't know. They certainly look like it and feel like it. But the organ didn't work basically. But we kept the keyboard and basically threw out the rest of the organ. No point of keeping something that's completely wrecked, is there? There we go. So let's now go into another request, I think, which is from Carlisle. Carlisle's managed to get 2 in tonight. He asks me to turn to the ELW 370. He wants me to play Christ Jesus lay in death's strong bands. Christ lag in Todes bangen. There's a chorale on this. There's an organ chorale on this melody in the Orgelbuchlein, of course, by Bach. So we shall have it now. I really do appreciate your company tonight, by the way, guys. You've been really good company tonight, really generous tonight, and I really, really do appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much. It's good to have had a strong number of people watching throughout the show. We've had nearly 2,000 people tune in at various points, so that's good. And we've got 217 people currently watching me from around the world. And actually, I would love to know where you are in the world. So all 220 of you, if you let me know where you are, that would be really rather special. Okay, let's have a go. So just to remind you, we are in Romsey Abbey tonight, and this is what the Abbey looks like from the back of the building. A picture taken from around the font, looking east towards the high altar. Great tune. Thank you very much. Andrew, we haven't yet had it, and actually that reminds me, I will play that because it has been in the backlog for a while, so we will have that tonight in a jiffy. I've just got 2 more live requests to play, and then we will have that Welsh hymn. How Firm Our Foundation is up next. And this has come in from Gregory, who's very kindly sent through $20. Thank you very much. Gregory says, sponsoring How Firm Our Foundation for the new music room. Give me a thumbs up if you like to come over to BIS, to sit in the music room, to a live organ recital, or to experience a live virtual church. Give me a thumbs up if you'd like to come over. Well, as Philip Scott says, you may need a bigger extension. Well, we may have to build an extension onto the extension by the looks of it. You're all welcome to come, maybe just not all at the same time. So I'm hoping that we'll be able to get a dozen people comfortably in there. And you'll be able to get a lot more than that in there. But then the question is, what sort of seats do we have and all of that. So it could be up to 15, I suppose, if we have a special seating arrangement. But the idea is to have more of the comfy seats, so a sofa, maybe another one of those. This will be the famous. That will be the hot seat. That'll go to the most generous donor. I think we'll have to reserve that to VVVVIPs, because there's a lot of VIPs and a lot of VVIPs and a lot of VVVIPs.
What does that make, Nala?
A C, as in the cat. Not seen Nala for a while. Is she in the garage?
She's sleeping on Charlotte's bed.
Oh, she's keeping an eye on Charlotte, is she? Okay, fair enough. So I don't know whether we can afford to charter a plane, because as I may have said, all the money was going to go on the extension. So there'll be no money left to go on a plane. Okay, so actually, Matt Leach, you requested I cannot tell why he who angels worship.
We did it.
That is, yes, we've done that one already.
Yeah.
So we've had all of the requests. We've had Lord of all hopefulness. We had that one a while ago. Excellent.
At this point,
have
can
had
I
all
just say amazing thank you and well done to our amazing producer, Josh Wilson.
Yes.
He's had a lot to keep on top of tonight.
The producers do all the work. I just turn up, just be told what to play.
Josh was concerned that you'd missed one out, but I think we've just checked, and I think they are. have
No,
all been played.
we've had them all. Oh, and his favourite Suo Guan thing.
So cool.
Well, I'll say that because I don't know how it's pronounced. I think it's Gaelic. Got a cat hair in my mouth. Lovely. I think this is a Christmas hymn. See, he lies there in the manger, who once made the earth and sky. Down from heaven he's come, a stranger, newly born, yet born to die. Hands almighty now lie helpless, round his mother's finger curled, lips so gracious. Now, yet speechless, soon will speak to all the world. C.O. Gone. There you go. C.O. Gone. I've been waiting for this for weeks. This was requested a while ago, and we didn't have the music, and so it's probably been maybe 4 or 5 weeks ago. But we always get round to it. So let's have a go now. This is probably our last request, and then we'll have a bit of a chat, and then a bit of a voluntary, perhaps.
I got told off for chatting too much earlier.
Because it's gone 11 o'clock here, so we better wrap up in a minute. Let's have a go at this one. Which camera shall I go on to for the final one? Let's go here. apparently Caroline sang that at a service not too long ago and knows all the Welsh from memory. So here we go. How was it all pronounced then?
I did have to sing it once, but luckily someone in the choir was Welsh, so he helped me with the pronunciation.
You're the one who's told me several times that you have a photographic memory.
No, I don't.
Does that not work with hearing
I don't
either?
have a
Photographic
memory.
ears.
No, I remember some things, but not everything.
All right, so I'm going to play now an organ piece. This is a suitable piece for Lent, and actually is very fitting to the last hymn that we just had. This is a more reflective piece. This is not a hard-hitting, romp of an organ piece. Although, having said that, it does come from a romp of an organ sonata. It's the first organ sonata by Alexander Gilmour, which I have played several times on BIS. Actually, the whole sonata you may find, if you, particularly you guys who are 5-6 hours behind us and have the rest of the Sunday evening to enjoy, you could always go on to BIS and search for Alexander Gilmour Organ Sonata number 1, Romsey, and you'll hear me play the whole sonata on the real pipe organ, and you can actually see then how it compares. I'm going to play the Pastoral, which is the second movement. It's a 3-movement sonata, as most sonatas are, of course. This is a middle movement. It's in A major, it has a lilting feel, which I know you like. And listen out in the middle section he asks for a vox humana and a tremulant. Romsey Abbey doesn't have a vox humana, but it does have a very nice oboe on the swell and a very nice tremulant on the swell. It's a very slow, sort of mournful tremulant rather than a fast one. And it works rather well. So I'm going to use the oboe and the trem on the swell for the middle section, and the clarinets and various flutes and other stuff as well. So I'll play this, and then I'll hook up with you in maybe 6 minutes or so at the end to say goodnight. So, Pastoral from the first organ sonata by Alexandre Gilmour. Well, that was the pastoral there from the first organ sonata by Alexandra Gilmour. The next movement is rather different in character. As is the first movement, actually, the first movement starts very boisterously on full organ. Yeah, it's well worth listening to if you fancy something rousing and but dark and broody, because it's in a D minor. It's very solemn, but it's a pretty good piece. I recommend it to you. So a thank you to, firstly, before I forget, to our producer tonight, Josh Wilson, who captured so well all of your live requests. Live applause here in the music room. Who captured all of your live requests and made sure that I played, I think, everything I was supposed to play. So thank you very much, Josh, for all of your hard work. Thank you all of you, for being so generous tonight. I don't quite know why you were so generous, but you were, and I loved it. So thank you very much. It does mean a lot, and it's very helpful. And it just gives us confidence that we can actually keep going with the building. And it has started. So it's not long now, and then I'll obviously share pictures of you when I can. In fact, what I'll do with my patrons and channel members, I will share a picture tomorrow. I'll share a few pictures tomorrow of what's happened so far.
What? The mud?
The mud, yeah. Well, that's what tends to happen, isn't it? When people start digging, there's mud. Which Nala's very happy with.
If Nala was a human, she would be a builder. No question. Every time we've had builders in this house, she loves it. She gets involved.
She does.
Nala she's missing an opportunity, really, to be a builder.
Which is ironic, because Bobby was the one found on a building site. But there, it's a true story. She was. So yes, I will be in touch via Patreon and channel memberships soon. If you want to know more information about the project and you want to see some pictures, maybe that should entice you just to join the Patreon website or as a channel member. So until I post that picture, I will say cheerio. You take care, you stay safe, and as always, I will see you next week. Or I might not see you next week, actually, because it's Hugo's birthday party, isn't it? Depends. It's going to be a long day, so let's see how we get on.
It finishes early, so.
Okay, yeah. So I should see you next week then. All right, good night all. Take care, stay safe. Bye-bye.
Oh, goats.